What is going on, Jets Nation, and welcome back to the Flight 5. You are live here with the crew. To my left, Mr. Wes is in the building. What's up, Wes?
My flow's in the pocket like Wallace. I got the bounce like hydraulics. I can't call it. I got the swerve like alcoholics. What's up? What's really good?
What is up, Jets Nation? I have a great story for you. Ready? I called my friend the other day, and he said his girlfriend's sister was getting an autograph from Mark Sanchez. And as she was getting the autograph from Sanchez, Sanchez goes, "You know this isn't worth a lot nowadays, right?" Funny story, and that is true, and that happened recently, so I just wanted to share that.
That's
very
nice.
funny.
Yeah. That's very funny. It's nice that he has a good kind of take on everything. That's kind of like reassuring to me.
Yeah, I liked him just a little bit more with that one, which is true. Like, you know.
And that's saying a lot coming from Frank.
Yeah.
And to Frank's left, that would be not Bill, but that would be Mr. John Presser, returning for act number 2. That must mean you did a kick-ass job on the first show because you are back. You're the first returning guest.
That's a good point.
So,
Manish.
Bill is fired.
Manish is the first and the only return.
Well, Manish is a caller.
Easily one of the best in-studio guests of all time in the history of Flight 5 Live, and I'm excited to be here, and I'm proud to be here and talk about Jets football.
What would you rate yourself
Justin
as a
Timberlake.
guest on the Madden scale? What do you got?
A 101.
Oh!
That's like John Lynch's injury, remember?
Yes, John Lynch. No, John McGraw's
sorry,
injury.
John McGraw's
John
injury
Presser,
for Bill.
that's great.
Definitely. Bill's actually fired.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, he's not on the show
So
anymore.
Presser is pretty much like the 5-episode club, like Justin Timberlake was just inducted on Saturday Night Live a couple of weeks ago. So that's a great honor, John.
Feels good.
Congratulations. But anyway, we do have a great show tonight. We have Ricky Sapp calling in.
Yes.
Twitter favorite. Everybody loves Ricky. Jake Steinberg's buddy. So we'll talk about that. We'll get into Family Guy with him as well. And we're also going to do the Unveiling the Unknown segment again, where we're going to allow one of the lesser-known Jets to call in and give a shout-out to Jets Nation and kind of introduce himself. So we will have Mr. Crocker call in. Eric Crocker will call in a few minutes, and we'll talk to him about him signing with the Jets and so on. And, of course, take your calls, guys, 914-595-4871. Tweet us at 5NLive. That's 5, letter N, live. And Skype us at Zadalza NY right there below me if you're watching on flight5live.com or zenlive.tv. And the chat room, of course. But, guys, I wanted to get right into what had happened this week in Jets Nation, and that is, of course, the biggest news is the Fred Davis situation, where it was reported that he was going to visit the Jets after visiting the Bills and obviously talking with the Redskins, who he had played with for the first, I think, 3 or 4 years now. Turned out he didn't actually come to the Jets and even visit, but he had signed a 1-year deal this morning with the back to go to the Washington Redskins. I know the Bills did have, I think, a 2-year offer on the table for him, so it's interesting that he did take the 1 year and stay in Washington.
Do they know how much money he's making? Did that come out?
It did not come, with money yet, but I'm sure that'll be released soon. So that's interesting as to, I don't know whether the Jets told him that they weren't going to match the offer, or he didn't want to come here. I'm sure that'll all leak as well, and the media will be all over that. Also, you had Dewan Landry visiting the Jets, Laron's older brother. He visited the Jets, I think it was Wednesday. Nothing out of that yet. And you have just coming out, Jeff Garcia and Mark Sanchez have connected, and they are working out together. Mark is learning the West Coast offense under Jeff Garcia. So that's interesting. I don't know what you guys kind of take on that, but we will get into that after the calls with Ricky Sapp and Eric Crocker. But Matt Slauson signed with the Raiders, signed with the Bears today. Interesting because they also talked to Brandon Moore, and didn't sign him, but ended up going with a one-year deal with Slauson. So that kind of leaves the 2009 draft, really, Rex Ryan's first draft with Sanchez. Trading up for Sanchez, they traded their first and second round picks. And that ended up being a Tampa Bay taking Freeman because they traded those picks to Cleveland, and then Cleveland traded them, and Freeman was selected by the Buccaneers there. And then they also traded with Detroit to grab Sean Green in the third round. So it was Green, Sanchez, and Slauson. Slauson is now gone to the Bears. Green now gone to the Titans, and it's Mark Sanchez left. So, guys, I got to ask, let's grade that 2009 draft. Wes, you start.
I may be in the minority here, and I'm quite okay with that, but I'm going to grade that officially as a B, a solid B. That's an above average draft. You took 3 players in that draft, right? You're the idea that you want when you come into an NFL draft is get able bodies that are going to be able to fulfill starting roles, and all 3 guys in a relatively short period of time were able to do that, and we're big producers for this team, whether you like them or not, whether you feel great about them or you hate them. They were key contributors and key working cogs on this team. Now, granted, it was only a short period of time. That's why I don't give it an A, because you want to look over longevity. I think that's something you have to look into in an NFL draft. But B-wise, on the short term, you got to love it.
Frank?
I don't like it at all for one reason, and you know that reason, obviously, if you tune into Flight 5. I hated the Mark Sanchez trade. Looking back on it, we traded our first-round selection at 17, and you could even forget about Josh Freeman, who is better than Mark Sanchez. But if you look at guys that were chosen after that point, Percy Harvin and Clay Matthews, I would have taken both of those guys at 17. And I remember the Jets were into Percy Harvin, and I wish we got him that year. On top of that, if you look at, we gave up a second-round pick that actually, the next pick after 52, 53 was actually LaShawn McCoy. And that would have made us all forget about Sean Green, who I thought was average. I loved him in the playoffs in 2009, but again, he just didn't have that, that speed, that breakaway speed that you need at the running back position, especially on a team that wants to, hand the ball off 60% of the time. I give that a C. Sanchez an F-. Matt Slauson a B-. He was good. I liked Matt Slauson. So overall, I give it a D. It wasn't a great draft. We did only have 3 picks, but again, we're stuck with Mark Sanchez, and we're paying him a ton of money because of that. So I think it put us in a hole for this year and in the future.
What about you, John?
I'm going to give it a C. It's an average draft to me. I mean, there's so many ways you can look at the draft. You got teams like New England to get a ton of picks and hit on half of them. And, the Jets only had 3 picks that year. It was a lot of their own doing, obviously, as they traded up twice. But they got 3 guys. All 3 of them were, if not starters right away, were key contributors in their second and third years. And, for only taking 3 guys, 100% of them ended up making an impact. But the longevity thing is what kills it. That's why I'm going to give it an average grade, because their rookie contracts are up, except for Sanchez got an extension, and the guys who hit free agency left without much fight by the Jets, and they were good while they were here. Matt Slauson clearly overperformed a 6th round contract, and it's good for him to get paid today. But overall, 09 class gets a C from me.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of go in between both of you guys, John and Frank. I'm going to give him a C-. The Sanchez thing just hangs on your head. The extension was worse, too. I think if they didn't sign up to that extension, they kind of let it ride out, maybe I would have gone to like a C or a C+, or maybe even a B-, because of the fact that in 2009, 2010, and somewhat of 2011, that paid off. Sean Green and Sanchez, whether you like them or not, or whether you think they were the main reasons, they were the starting quarterback, and I guess you can say Sean Green was a starting running back or a big key contributor to 2 AFC championship teams. So I can't give it an ultimate F. It sounds like grade Sanchez and Sean Green, immediately you'd say F. They suck. They're terrible. We can't stand them. But, like Wes said, looking back on what had happened, now looking forward, I got to sit like right in the middle there with a C-. I lean more towards the C- because of the Sanchez. So that kind of puts a bow on the 2009 draft. But
now, what I would kind of, if I could just interject real quick, I think something that really just does it for me is that the fact that these players were all involved in back-to-back AFC championship runs, long runs in the playoffs. These aren't winning a divisional game and then making it to the AFC championship game only to lose. You won a couple games each year in the playoffs with this team, with Mark Sanchez leading this team, with Sean Green carrying the load in the postseason, being that postseason, that kind of winter running back that you look for in a postseason running back. And then, of course, Matt Slauson, who gets a badge of honor in my eyes for playing through that 2011 season with not one but two injuries in his shoulder there. So I think for that, I think that alone gets a B.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what? I always wonder, though, if we didn't have Mark Sanchez and Sean Green, let's say we had, I don't know, let's say Josh Freeman, who was picked at 17. Would this team maybe this team might have made it to a Super Bowl. I mean, you don't know. Sanchez did play well in the playoffs, but I'll say it again. I don't think that New England defense that he had, a couple big games against, I don't think they were anything special. I mean, look what Joe Flacco's done to them. I mean, that secondary, you just throw the ball up, and your receivers are going to make plays. I mean, it was the games against Pittsburgh that killed Sanchez. I mean, that's a real defense, not Indianapolis and New England. Those are all offensive teams. They're going to throw up 35, 40 points on you, and they don't care what their defense gives up. As long as they give up under 40, they'll probably find a way to win. So, I mean, I get the 4 playoff games and the AFC Championship game runs, but I think that's hurting this team now. I do. I think we're living in the past, and I think if we want to get to the next stage of development as a team, I would just forget about what happened in the past because we just don't have that leadership anymore.
I think they are moving towards that now, especially with Idzik and the way the front office, especially the way they handle the media now. It's nothing. There's no talk, nothing going on. So it's kind of like a new feeling, and maybe they finally did put it in the past. But anyway, to go towards the future and what's going on with the Jets now, and another offseason move that the Jets had made prior to the official start of free agency when they brought in guys like Garay and Goodson and so on was Eric Crocker, who the Jets had signed. So we're going to be joining Eric now. What we're going to do is unveil the unknown, really, what we do here around 7:10 before the show every week. We did it with Claude Davis last week, Thomas Mayo the week before. It's a nice little touch because these guys, and shout out to Jake and Steinberg, obviously, for hooking up with the Connects, of course. It's a nice little touch because these guys really don't get noticed anywhere else. They don't really have a platform. You have Twitter, and you can tweet out 140 characters here and there, but to give the unknowns, to say, not in a bad way to call them unknowns, but give them a chance to kind of introduce themselves to Jets Nation. So what we want to do now is allow defensive back Eric Crocker to do just that, what Thomas Mayo and Claude Davis got to do the past few weeks. So we are joined by Eric right now. How's it going, Eric?
It's going pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Just, we had Thomas Mayo and Claude Davis the past 2 weeks. We gave them a platform to introduce themselves, and we want to do the same for you now. So why don't you just tell Jets Nation a little bit about who Eric Crocker is as the player and the person and what they're going to be seeing, hopefully, come Sundays in the NFL.
Oh, yeah. Small school guy. Had to, take the long road from senior college to the Division II school to Arena League. I played 1 year of Arena, and finally got my shot, to work out for the Jets, and Coach Rex Ryan and Coach Thurman and McDonald, they liked what they saw, so, they signed me. I'm just gracious for the opportunity.
All right, Eric, it's great to have you as a part of this Jets team. We welcome you to this Jets team on behalf of all of Jets Nation, but to kind of get into the questions here, you've experienced firsthand the importance of academics in the sports world and the collegiate world. What would you say to young football players who may forget the meaning of the student-athlete label?
Grades first. You can have all the talent in the world. You can be highly sought after, but if you don't have the grades, you just make it more difficult on yourself. You always want to have your education to back up, your athletic ability, or you want your athletic ability to back up your schooling. But, the average life in the NFL, if you make it, there's, slim chances you make it. But, I think it's like 4 years or 3 or 4 years, for the average career. So, that after that, what do you do? So, grades is a big part of it. Just, being able to do well in school. I wish I did a lot better. It maybe would have been an easier journey. But, I wouldn't take anything back. I appreciate the experiences that I've gone through. I think it made me, stronger and a tougher player.
Hey, Eric, man, welcome to Jets Nation, man. Woo! Let's go. Let's get it. We're going to have a great year this year. I'm telling you, I'm feeling it. But I was going to ask you, is there a specific type of coverage that you believe you excel in? And can you maybe talk about the differences between a corner or a D-back that's great in zone coverage but isn't that great in man? Why does that happen, if you had to say?
Well, as far as my strengths go, I went to 3 different schools, colleges, but I played under four different schemes. So the first school I went to was a cover 2 scheme. And then the second school I went to was more like of a man zone type concept. When I went to the university, it was my junior year was just straight man for the most part. It was man press most of the time, not too much off coverage. And then my senior year, we have a new coaching staff, so I had to learn a new defense again, and that was more of a cover 3, cover 4 type scheme. So I've been through it all. Like I'm comfortable in any scheme. If I had to have a preference, it would be man press coverage. Just to me, it's just more personal. You get to get in the receiver's face, be a pest down the field, which I watch a lot of film on Revis and Cromartie. They're 2 of the best in the league. They do that very well. So I just try to, see what they do, watch all the film I can on them, and try to, model myself after that.
Definitely.
Yeah, Eric, as a young undrafted DB, you come into camp and you get to be the understudy of guys like Antonio Cromartie and Darrelle Revis, all pro players. What are you expecting out of that?
Just learn from them. I'm coming in, being a student of the game. Obviously when you're at this level, everybody's athletic. Everybody has fast enough speed. I have good size that I think might separate me from some of the other guys. I don't know, but I just want to learn from Revis and Cromartie. They play a little different, and I think just picking Revis' brain with how he knows how to jump routes and things like that. I think that'll make me a better player going into training camp.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, this is Eric Crocker, defensive back, just signed by the Jets. You can follow Eric at Eric_Crocker on Twitter. Definitely give him a shout out, Jets Nation. Say what's up, welcome him to the team and whatnot. This is the Unveiling the Unknown segment we do here at like around 7:10 every week. We have one of the lesser known guys come on, give them a platform to kind of just introduce himself to Jets Nation. So Eric, if you can, before we go, I do have a question after this though. Give Jets Nation a little intro into what kind of player that they'll be seeing, or getting, hopefully, if you do make the 53, or even if you're on the practice squad. What kind of player are they getting?
A tough physical guy. I've seen some blogs that compare me to Richard Sherman, that type of mode, that type of size. And athletic ability. I like to get in guys' face. Talk a little trash, but I'm an exciting player to watch. I'm just hungry, and coming from a smaller school, and everybody back there, banking on me. I don't think anybody from my college has ever made a 53-man roster. So
wow.
Everybody's they're back there rooting for me. So I'm working hard for all of them. I'm working hard for everybody in Jets Nation, and for myself, my family, just trying to prove myself and show that I belong here, and I can do this just like all the other guys.
Awesome. Yeah, you got to do it for them, and to be the first one to ever make the NFL. It's got to feel pretty good. But anyway, Eric, before we do let you go, I saw a picture of you playing in the AFL. Obviously, the video with the what's that called when the receivers get that like head start? Is there a term for that in the AFL?
Pretty much high motion. He's a high motion guy. Arena League, it helped me out a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's got to be a nice...
Imagine if Plax had that.
He'd be
the best receiver in the league.
There's guys, similar to that type of mode, pretty sure not as athletic maybe as him, or they'd probably be in the NFL, but I don't know if I would want to see Plax go in high motion.
That'd be scary, man. Damn. But anyway, we saw in the video and some pictures back from the AFL, you had dreads, and now on your Twitter picture, it looks like those are gone. Any reason?
Oh, yeah, I cut them off just trying to be, a little bit more professional, I guess. I'm getting older now, I guess, kind of 25 years old. And I just thought it was time for, just a change and something different. And since I cut them, I've been getting a lot more blessings. I don't know if it's because I cut my hair, but, I'm not looking back on them. They're in the past, and I'm just trying to start over.
Nice. Idzik didn't make you do that, did he?
The Jets ain't the Yankees.
I know. I was seeing if Idzik and Rex are running ship like the Yankees do out here. They make everybody shave their beards and hair and whatnot.
Now, this guy, I think I saw Trufant. I think he has dreads.
Yeah, that's your Kyle Wilson has dreads.
I think I saw Cromartie growing his out. So, yeah.
Yeah, Cromartie's got the shorter dreads.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and then sometimes he goes with the skin fade. But anyway, Eric, we really appreciate it, and wish you all the best of luck, and hopefully see you out there in mini camp and whatnot when we're out there. And keep in touch, and great luck. And follow Eric again on Twitter, guys. It's at Eric_Crocker. Give him a shout out and welcome him.
And
Eric.
smack up Danny Amendola.
Yeah,
introduce him to the AFCs, man.
All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. You guys have a blessed day.
All right, you too, man.
All right, you too, man.
All right, so that's like we do the uncovering the unknowns here, like I just said, and giving guys a chance to kind of introduce themselves. So I like that. It's a cool touch we do to the show, and give.
Do you know what?
You don't hear that anywhere else.
No, you really don't. And I was gonna say a guy like Eric Crocker, what's gonna be most tough for him, I think, at first is just getting used to the NFL locker room. I mean, it's what I know is that it's a lot more tense than it is in other places. You have coaches on your back. You make a couple mistakes in practice here and there, they're going to shoot you down to 6 on the depth chart, and then you're going to be off the team. So you have to get acclimated fast.
Yes.
You need to make plays within the first 3 or 4 days of practice, or else you're going to be forgotten about. They're not going to give Eric Crocker, many more chances if he's going to screw up day 2, 3, and 4 when full pads come on. So
OTAs, mini camps, man, that's your time to shine. A lot of these new younger players, you're going to see them practicing with a lot of the rookies that are going to be signed in that first rookie camp. So you see them just trying to get acclimated, anything to kind of get them a step above and an extra leg up on learning this new system. So it's going to be great. I mean, I think something that works great for Eric Crocker is going to be his size. I mean, at 6'2", he offers that versatility where you can play safety, or you can be that type of Richard Sherman guy, which you mentioned, which I'm not sure if Darrelle Revis is a big fan of. But you can play almost like those Seattle defensive backs, which kind of brings to mind, of course, that connection with John Idzik that he had. So I kind of like the versatility that he brings, and Rex loves versatile guys, So that should definitely help his stock as well, making that 54-man roster.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I forgot to mention in the intro, guys, and I want to give a shout out because the write-up for the U Stadium NFL Draft Party was in the Daily News today. Definitely appreciate that. Seth Walder did a nice little write-up on the party. If you guys want to come out to the party, it's going to be a great time. We got the app is going to be there. Hopefully, the U Stadium app we told you guys about the past few weeks. Prince and Mukamura, the Giants, Damian Woody will be out there, Demario Davis, Donald Strickland, and some more names to be confirmed as we go along. So that is draft night, April 25th. That's a Thursday night, first round of the draft. You'll check out the app. Open bar, football foods like chicken fingers, wings, and small stuff like that.
Get there before Nick gets there.
Get there before. Well, it's gonna be hard to beat me there, but anyway, definitely check it out if you guys do want to get your
tickets. You love nothing more than chicken fingers,
chicken
dude.
Fingers.
You're
Always
obsessed
did.
with them.
I always did. To grab your tickets, it's with the U, letter U, Stadium, NFL.eventbrite.com. Grab your tickets. That one ticket allows you to all of the events that's going down, the games, giveaways, the app release, and to meet and greet with the players. So it's going to be a great time. Check that out. Follow them on Twitter. That's at _U Stadium. So the event's going to be great. A lot of people from the Jets Twitter community is coming out, so meet everybody out there. All of us will be there, so it'll definitely be a good time. But with that, guys, I want to get into our next little topic here, and that is Mark Sanchez. This is great right here, guys. Mark Sanchez and Jeff Garcia have been working out together at a test facility in California. Learning the West Coast offense under Jeff Garcia, who had played in Marty Mornhinweg, our new offense coordinator's West Coast offense in Philadelphia. So I want you to fill in the blanks. Wes, I'll start with you. Wes Sykes, you are blank by hearing this recent report.
I am impressed by reading and hearing about this recent report of Mark Sanchez going to Jeff Garcia. While I think it's a little bit expected at this point after hearing everything that happened with Chad Pennington and working under Tony Sparano's system, the difference is this between Chad Pennington and Jeff Garcia. They might be both mediocre, okay, average quarterbacks. The difference is that a 4-time All-Pro, Jeff Garcia was a 4-time All-Pro under Marty Morningway's, or Pro Bowler, excuse me, under Marty Morningway's system with San Francisco and the Philadelphia Eagles. He spent almost his entire career under Morningway's West Coast system. That's the difference between him and I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name, Chad Pennington here, who was only in Miami for a couple of years, wins the Comeback Player of the Year award, and then kind of falls off again, as we've seen a couple of times from Pennington. So that's the difference. So if there's anyone you have to go to learn about Morningway's system, Jeff Garcia is probably the guy. Now, what is also a little bit of alarming that he was also not only working with Mark Sanchez, but the Scissor King himself, Jamarcus Russell. So if that tells you about how far off Mark Sanchez has fallen, that he's working with Jamarcus Russell, that's a little bit of a pause for concern.
No, that doesn't. You're not. I mean, the word for that would be excited. Jamarcus Russell, Jeff Garcia, Mark Sanchez. I mean, that's a camp if I've ever.
Jeff Garcia is pretty damn good.
I like Jeff Garcia. I'd sign Jeff Garcia to start over Sanchez this year. So
you're all about
you should be watching anybody working out at that camp. I would probably bring Garcia before I brought back Sanchez. But Frank, what are you? You are blank by reading this report.
Man. I am suspicious
Ooh.
by this report. You know what it is, man? Men, women. I don't know if does Mark Sanchez really want to get better? Does he really want to get better, or is he just going through the motions? Is he the guy that, wakes up at night like, oh, damn, I got to go do this, but he makes himself do it? Or does he really want to get better to be a great football player? Like, is 100% of Mark Sanchez about being a great football player, like it's apparent with Drew Brees? Or is it, he's just doing what he thinks is going to make him into that person, so he just, kind of just does that 9-to-5 thing, as I call it. I don't know. That's why I'm suspicious. I don't know. I mean, this report to me doesn't really mean much, because when I see him on the field on Sundays and he makes a bad play and teammates are lifting up his helmet and stuff, it tells me that, he's just expecting things to happen, not really making them happen. That's just me.
Yeah, it makes complete sense. I mean, I'll let John go, but I want to just jump in there. I'm excited to get into it. But what about you, John? You are blank by reading the report.
I am oddly encouraged, believe it or not, because I'm not buying that he's going through the motions. I honestly do believe that Mark Sanchez is a guy who works his tail off trying to get better every offseason, whether it's Jets West or working with Pennington or working with Jeff Garcia. He's going the extra mile to try to come into camp with some semblance of knowledge about this new offense. He's not just coming in knowing that he's going to get that money anyway and just, saying whatever, I'll learn the offense. He wants to come in, he wants to resurrect his career. Maybe he's not 100% football all the time, but I don't think he wants to be embarrassed. I don't think he wants to be a laughingstock or a bust in New York. I think he wants to succeed in New York, and I think that I'm really encouraged that he's going in March and working out, trying to learn an offense, months before he's even allowed to talk to his offensive coordinator.
But again, is that good? Is that the motivation that you want? I mean, just not to be a laughingstock. It's almost like what you want on the surface rather than what you actually are. And I don't like to judge someone what they are. I'm not going to be like a psychologist here, but to me, I just, when I see guys like Drew Brees and then I see guys like Sanchez and, even, let's say, even maybe Tony Romo just got a huge new deal. I don't see that like...
That killer instinct?
Yeah, that killer instinct. Like, and again, you don't have to pick these guys. Like, nobody told Dallas you have to pay Tony Romo over, what do you get, over $100 million? You don't have to extend Mark Sanchez. Like, you can go out and get a guy that really cares about football. Like, we make it seem like we have to keep these we have to keep Sanchez. We don't. If it was up to me, I'd cut him, pay him $17 million dead money, lose $4 million in the cap, and get rid of the guy because that's just me. But I mean,
I think you fall into a really tricky scenario when you start questioning whether a player or not really wants to be great, because I think you come into this league and you have to assume and you have to give the assumption, because we're not there in these guys' minds, in their heads, to really know one way or the other whether these guys actually enjoy playing football. They're kind of like a Curtis Martin type guy who understands the platform that it gives him, the money that can brings in, and the good that he can do from it. But having said
he's
that,
an exception, though. I
understand. There's a couple other spectrums.
You're right. There are a lot of exceptions.
But to say that Mark Sanchez doesn't care about football, I think is almost assassinating his character. I'm not sure if that's something that we in this room, the flight boys of Flight 5 Live, are really even. I don't know.
I'm not saying he doesn't care. I'm saying he doesn't care as much as the Andrew Lucks, the RG3s. I mean, you look at guys, the Russell Wilsons, guys that are coming in, like, he just doesn't care as much as them, and I think is a difference.
Thing to measure, though. That's what I'm saying.
It's just, I just see it when there's, I don't know, it's just apparent.
And if I could just jump in, it is hard to measure that stuff, and really the only way we're going to measure it is if he wins on Sundays. If Sanchez comes out and plays great this year, then wow, that Jeff Garcia camp really mattered. He didn't have a good year last year, so the Pennington thing doesn't matter. I'm not on the Sanchez bandwagon. I may have rode that bandwagon till the wheels fell off, and that bandwagon just buried itself in the ground last year.
Better than Joe Flacco.
No comment on that. But the point is, if he ends up being the starter this year, and I'm on the David Garrard bandwagon now, but if Sanchez is the guy, I'm going to root for him to do well because he's the Jets quarterback, and I do appreciate that he's going out and putting in this extra work, and I hope it pays off on Sundays.
Yeah, to me, it's just old news. Like, I know Wes said, when he was working with Pennington last offseason, he worked with Rich Gannon, which a few years back. To me, it's just, why is it even being reported at this point? It's just, who cares? If it's not going to translate to the field, it's his third new system in 5 years now. But maybe if he would grasp the system and play well in that system, he wouldn't have to have different coordinators every year and have to work out with a different quarterback. It's just nauseating is the word I'll use, I guess, the underlying word. I'm sick of hearing about it. It makes me ill when I hear about Mark Sanchez working out with guys like Chad Pennington and Jeff Garcia. If you're good enough, you don't have to work out with anybody. Do your own workout. Go through the motions. Get ready for the season. Get ready for camp, workouts, preseason. You don't have to work out, or it shouldn't even be reported. I just don't want to hear about it anymore. I don't want to hear about Jeff Garcia. I don't want to hear about Chad Pennington. I want to hear about my starting quarterback preparing for this season, coming off of a good year, getting ready to get better, not to get not had a worse season and now working out with somebody who isn't even that good in the first place. So it's just, at this point, it's just old news for me. But
I think my question for you, though, Nick, is that you mentioned the systems that he was in, and although you did point out that it was 2 or 3 systems out of 5 or 6 years or whatever the exact number is, how well is Brian Schottenheimer and Sam Bradford doing in St. Louis right now? What was their offense?
Well, everybody knows.
What offensive coordinator job does Tony Sperano have right now?
He had 1 year with a horrible quarterback and horrible.
What job does he have right now?
I think he's Oakland's O-line coach, maybe.
So he was actually demoted. He didn't even have a position. These guys aren't even considered great offensive minds within the NFL, not within their own team. So, I mean, I understand you're sick of giving Mark Sanchez a cop-out, so to speak, but I think that you have to look into that he's been in 3 offenses every other year, pretty much every other year. Half of this time, he's learning a new offense in the NFL. And none of these offenses are even projecting to do well, not just within the Jets organization, but on other teams across the board as well.
Don't you kind of, at the end of the day, it's his 5th year. Isn't some of the onus on him now? Like, what's with all the excuses? He's not a kid.
Right. Some of the onus definitely does go on him.
It's your offense. It's nobody else's offense.
But not all of it.
He's the quarterback. He's not like a third receiver. It's his team. You're the quarterback. I guess personally, I value the quarterback position a lot higher than other people do. Then I guess because for me, I want my quarterback to be the guy to lead it and say, "This is my offense. It doesn't matter what offense you put me in. I'm going to be good in any offense." I don't need to have 3 different offenses and 3 different coordinators and blame my receivers and have people give exceptions and baby me every year. It's to the point where it's just old. It's old news. I'm done with making excuses for this guy. He's, it's either now he magically and a miracle happens and he becomes a good NFL quarterback, or he's done. I don't want to hear it anymore. It's just gotten to that point. I think everybody is the same way, whether you're a Mark Sanchez fan, whether you hate Mark Sanchez as a player, not a person. It's never about anything personal with these players, but it's just, it's old. It's old for me. I'm done hearing about who he's working out with in the offseason. Like Frank always says, Mark Sanchez is one of the only guys who gets better when he doesn't play. Like, you forget about actually how bad Mark Sanchez is, and then you're sitting there in the offseason thinking about, at least he's trying with Jeff Garcia this week. It's nice to hear that he really cares. I'm done with it. I can't stand hearing about it anymore. I really can't. So that's the short little long answer. You know? Anyway.
I agree with you.
You guys are listening to Flight 5 to get a little passionate there. Give us a call. We want to hear from you, 914-595-4871. Tweet us. We did get a lot of good words. There's speechless. There's speechless up there. There's I don't care. There's a few more good ones. Indifferent. There's really glad for a positive one, too. But we are joined right now by Ricky Sapp, outside linebacker, currently the starting outside linebacker of the New York Jets. If you look at the roster, we are joined by Mr. Ricky Sapp. What's up, man? How are you?
Man, what's up, man? How you guys doing?
We're doing good. You were just involved in a little heated Mark Sanchez debate. I'm sure it's not the first time you ever heard that. But,
Shocker.
Guys, this is, again, Ricky Sapp. Follow Ricky on Twitter, whether you want some Family Guy references, whether you want to just follow some Jet players. It's just a cool, all-around cool dude. It's at Sapp55 if you want to check out the phoner graphic if you are watching on flight5live.com. I don't know if you can see that, Ricky. Are you watching on the computer right now?
Yeah, I am.
You see the graphic?
Worked hard on that one.
You see the guy up in the right-hand corner?
Yeah.
All right, we'll get into that a little bit. I know someone wants to ask you about some Family Guy in a bit, but how are you though? How's health-wise? What are you looking at right now? How's the injuries?
Oh man, I'm feeling good. I've been blessed to be able to come back to my school in Clemson and rehab with some of the best trainers and work out with some NFL guys and just get back in the training and doing some things, and I'm just feeling real good right now.
All right, Ricky, thanks for coming on the show. And a couple weeks ago, probably about a month ago or so, we had LaRon Landry on the show, and he spoke glowingly about team doctors and how they didn't just treat his injury, but healed it. And, of course, that was him coming off missing a year with that heel Achilles injury. But what have the team doctors done with your knee and that high ankle sprain that you worked with last year to kind of have it not reoccur this year?
Well, one of the biggest things with my ankle last year was, I had the high ankle sprain, and right away, we came right into the season, and I got put on practice squad. You're on practice squad, you got to practice. So I never really had a chance to let it rest. So, after the season, I went to the doctors and put together a little plan for my knee and my ankle, and I followed what they put together, and I'm feeling real good. My knee has been feeling good for the last 2 years, so that's not an issue anymore. It's just all about keeping my body, maintenance to my knee and just taking care of my body and getting the proper rest.
Hey, Ricky, man. Great having you on. I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped for you to get out there. But as a pass rusher, when you get down in a three-point stance or whatever, you're standing up on the outside, what are you looking to do off the edge, let's say in a 3rd and 15? I mean, are you looking to blow right by the offensive tackle? Are you, getting into a hand fight with them? I mean, what's the thought process? I asked this last week to a new OLB, Claude Davis, so I just wanted to ask you the same question.
Man, my first thought is to beat him off the ball. If I can beat him off the ball, I got him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Once I do that, I'm getting around the corner as fast as I can. I'm getting to that quarterback.
Are you reading snap counts? Are you trying to?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think one of the biggest things I try to do is jump the snap count when especially if it's 3rd and 15.
Gotcha.
Hey Ricky, last year the Rex Ryan's defense was ranked 8th, and that was actually his worst ranked defense in the NFL with the Jets as a head coach. With a lot of overhaul on this defense this year, what can fans expect from this 2013 defense?
Well, you already know when you play for Rex Ryan, he expects greatness out of the defense, and we take pride in playing for him, and we know that finishing 8th overall wasn't good enough. So we hungry to come at this offseason together and get ready to go to work and take the #1 spot.
Yeah, now, speaking of, the overhaul, and now we're down Calvin Pace, Brian Thomas, and Bart Scott, and Jake Steiny31 had to give him a shout-out, of course. He had said on Twitter that you're the starting linebacker, outside linebacker this year, yourself and Garrett McIntyre. Is that true? Has Rex told you that? A lot of the people on Twitter, there's a lot of sarcasm. People think they're funny on Twitter and whatnot, but are you, penciled in as the starting outside linebacker for the Jets right now?
Well, I think I am. That's what the kind of sense I got. So, I've just been working hard and looking forward for the opportunity. So we'll see what happens when I get back.
We're playing that the video right now that Steiny had made with Eric Thomas. I love it. It's a great video. But
I love it too.
Hey, Ricky, real quick, with guys like Barkevius Mingo, Deion Jordan, Jarvis Jones, you have Ezekiel Ansah coming into the draft. I mean, are you nervous at all? I mean, if we end up selecting them at 9, or you just don't care and you're just going to go out there and just, work your tail off to try to, start?
Well, the one thing I can tell you, I have never lost a starting job in my career. And definitely don't want to sound cocky or anything like that. But once I get the starting job, that's a wrap. So
nice. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm just thankful to have the opportunity.
We're gonna miss Calvin Pace a lot. I'm just gonna let you know. No, man, what was the deal? What was up with Calvin Pace? I mean, he looked like sometimes he got shot out there. I mean, he'd go to make a tackle and he'd just fall. Like he'd get a couple hands on the guy, maybe just feel him up real fast, and the running back would just go on for 30 more.
Well, one thing I can tell you, man, I learned so much from Calvin and Brian Thomas and Bart Scott. Really, really great veteran guys, and I was just so thankful and blessed to be able to come to the team when they were still there, and I'm just looking forward to using what they taught me on the field this season.
Again, guys, you're here with Ricky Sapp, linebacker from the New York Jets, who's penciled in as the starter right now. We'll see what happens comes draft and preseason and so on. But if Ricky does stay healthy, which has always been a tough, he's been unlucky with some bad breaks. But if he does stay healthy, it seems like he just said, that he's not losing that starting job. So follow Ricky Sapp55 on Twitter. Ricky, we did in the past is when we do have guests on, we put them through a lightning round. So it's kind of like a quick 5 questions. We each shoot out 5 questions, and it's a quick answer from you. So we kind of want to catch you off guard with some of these questions, but they're light and they're fun. So first question, and I'll start it off here, and we'll throw it to Wes, Frank, and then John. It's a Family Guy one. So if you had to pick one Family Guy character to be for the rest of your life, who would it be and why?
Stewie. He's the funniest character on the show.
Yeah? Nice.
I might pick Patty Tanager, the caddy manager. Yeah, Rams, big whoop. You want to fight about it? In all seriousness, I'm really embarrassed I just said that. But my question for you, I'm going to throw you into a bit of a pickle here. Okay, you have Rex Ryan, Daquan Bowers, and Jake Steinberg are all in a burning building. You can only save 2 of them. Who are you not saving?
Hey, I gotta save the Quan. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and save Jake, man.
Oh, you're throwing the head coach. The head coach, man.
Well, you can't carry Rex and Quan in the same. You can't carry them out at the
same time. Yeah, you got to leave one behind.
Oh man.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you could throw Jake on your back, so maybe you would be able to.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, Ricky. How many sacks will you have in 2013-14 season? What do you got?
My goal is 10. My goal is 10 sacks, baby. I'm going to get 10.
Let's get it.
There we go. Like that nice even number we got there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It'll be the first double-digit sack getter we've had since Abraham.
Hey, I'm going to get it, baby.
Awesome.
All right, and Ricky, we're going to get a little festive here. What is on the menu at a Sapp family Easter dinner?
Oh, man. We got ham. We got some turkey. We got some stuffing. We got fried chicken. We got some perla rice and ham. We got cornbread. We eating good, man. You guys welcome to come eat, man.
I know. I was going to do a part B. Is there another invitation to RSVP to that? Or it sounds like all the holidays in one. Turkey, ham, everything. It's like Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Easter.
Damn
I love
right.
it. Well, Ricky, we appreciate the call as always.
Best of luck, man. Best of luck heading up there. We hope you have a healthy and happy 2013 season. That's definitely what we want from one of our best pass rushers on the team here.
Indeed.
Yep. Stay healthy, bud.
Hey, thank you guys, and God bless.
No problem.
Take care.
All right, man.
All right, guys, you listen to Flight 5 Live. We're going to come back. We'll get into a little 2 Up, 2 Down segment where we'll kind of kick off the NFL draft year or month. It is March is ending, and we're only less than 4 weeks away from the NFL draft and the U Stadium draft event, too. But we're going to go to break. We'll come back. We'll get into the 2 Up, 2 Down, and we'll take it to Twitter, too, at the end of the show. So we'll put up some good tweets around Jets Nation for the week. But you're all listening to Flight 5. Take us to break, Frank.
Hey, it's commercial time. But if you're in the New York City area and you want some of the finest espresso in the world, it's always ranked top 50. Yes, it is, Nick, John, and Wes. Ooh. You can check them out. It's Cafe Essay. Check them out. Google them. Go on their website, essaycafe.com. Listen, guys and gals, coffee is getting out of style. You crash from it. You have to drink a whole cup just to get a little bit of energy. Everyone's, tweaking about it out there. So if you want to get a little buzz in your step, a little pep in your step, a nice little espresso, it's good. It settles the stomach. It's not very acidic like coffee is. So definitely get your espresso game on, check them out at SA. That's ESSE, and that's Cafe. So definitely check them out, and you could get that coffee espresso in Eat Ali, which is in New York City, Manhattan. So.
I gotta give a shout out to, as always, to Nicole Esther, the sales associate with Remax Country Realty, whose business is built on the promise of exceptional customer service. Whether you're selling your home or searching for that special place to call your own, John, you deserve to work with someone you trust. Interested in buying or selling? Nicole does it all, Wes. So make sure to ask Nicole about her proven marketing plan. She can provide you the maximum amount of exposure for your home. Contact Nicole Frank with your needs and let her get you started today on your next real estate purchase or sale. That number is 845-590-7959. Log on to www.nicoleester.com. That's ESTHER. Or send her a tweet at NJRealtorNIC. And let's go Jets. Let's go into the NFL draft right now, Frank.
Whoa.
Yeah, man.
You ready?
Beautiful segue.
That was nice, right?
I love it. That's what I'm all about, man. I'm all about a good segue. I'm a sucker for it.
Yeah, I know. I try my best. Ever since you got here, Wes, when you kind of took over the reins of that seat over there, I kind of needed to step my segue game up. Because when you did host a few weeks ago, I was feeling a little bit of Wally Pipp heat over here, and I thought, I was going to get replaced, but you guys let me
just
come
watch
back.
your back. That's all I'm saying.
I will. I got a camera here,
Not too
so I
close,
can look
but just
behind me.
keep an eye out.
Nick, remember I don't know, was it 8 to 10 years ago, you would always say to everyone at the lunch table, you'd always be like, the NFL draft is the best thing to watch sports related.
Yep.
And we're like, are you kidding me? You have the NBA playoffs, you have March Madness. You're like, no, the NFL draft. We always used to laugh at you. But you know what? I think you're right.
Look who's laughing now.
Look who's laughing now.
People are 8 to 10 years behind me in the game. I was wise beyond my years. So.
Did you say that before or after you wolfed down the turkey sandwich?
Oh, after.
Okay.
I wouldn't be talking during, that's for sure.
Nick, what was your
I'd be way
lunch
too
go-to
excited.
move? Were you a PB&J type of guy, or would you switch it up?
I love peanut butter and jelly now more than I did when I was a kid.
Damn.
So that is interesting. I don't cut the crust off.
You used to drop the nuggets, but actually eat them. Say you would drop them, and then you would get more, right?
Exactly.
That was a
I dropped my lunch
Preston.
tray.
Oh, that's
I needed
genius,
another one.
man.
Yeah.
What I would do, I'd go to the garbage
What was
and
I
take
doing?
the tray of leftovers that people would drop and throw it on the floor and say, "See, look, I did that." But anyway, 2 up, 2 down. Frank, I'm going to start off with you. Over the next 4 weeks, we're going to be doing this, for first round, second round, third round, and so on and so forth. We're going to give you 2 guys who we do like and who we don't like for the Jets pick. So we're going to be saying guys that we do like for number 9. So you're not going to be able to go with who makes sense. I know I love Tyler Eifert, the tight end for Notre Dame, but I don't think he makes sense at 9. So, Frank, kick it off. Who do you like most? Who do you dislike? Shoot.
The guy I like most, Geno Smith. The guy delivers the ball like a machine. He does. Every single throw is right on the numbers. He allows guys to get yak. Look at what Tavon Austin and Stedman Bailey did at West Virginia. They just got yards upon yards. Why? Yes, they're great players in college, but Geno Smith got them the ball on the numbers. And as a receiver, if you just need to make a quick turn, catch and run, that little half a second or tenth of a second makes the difference in terms of getting out of your break. And that's what Geno Smith does best. Who do we have? We have guys like Jeremy Curley and Santonio Holmes as our 2 best receivers right now. He'd be perfect for them. They're small guys, just like Tavon Austin and just like Austin and Bailey. Get them right on the numbers, and they're gone. Someone I dislike at 9 is Geno Smith's best receiving target, arguably, or best offensive guy on the team, Tavon Austin.
Ooh,
Listen, I love Tavon Austin as a player, but I don't think we need another guy who's under 6 foot who's all about getting yak. We need another big receiver that could play on the outside. Because listen, Tavon Austin can be a slot guy. He can't play on the outside. Same with Curley, and pretty much Holmes is more of I like him inside as the inside receiver. So Tavon Austin to me would just be another quick guy, another quick guy that gets yak, but we have that with Curley and we have that with Holmes. So I would not want Tavon Austin at 9, and I would love Geno Smith. My other guy that I would love is Jarvis Jones. He's my 2 up, number 2. I love Jarvis Jones. He's all over the field. I'm a big Jarvis Jones fan. On the other end, I'm not a big Ezekiel Ansah fan. He had only 4.5 sacks throughout his career in college. Only 1 forced fumble. He's a tweener. He reminds me of Melvin Ingram. He's always hand fighting and worrying about the offensive tackle. I don't like that.
T-Rex arms.
Yeah, he's always fighting and stuff. Just get off the block and go make a play. He makes plays when no one's blocking him. He'll run down the line and really fast because he's athletic and then hit someone. You'd be like, wow, but when he's getting blocked, he's not really making that many plays, in my opinion.
Wes, let's just take a call before we do. We had him on the line waiting here. I want to grab a call here before we get back to you for your 2 Up, 2 Down. But you are on Flight 5 Live. What's up, brother?
Oh, man,
Yeah, you're
that's some
breaking up a
awful
little bit.
feedback
Why don't you-
now.
Yeah, we're getting some bad feedback. Try and call from a better phone or location. We'll definitely
Landline.
pick up the call. But all right, Wes, that allows you to get back into it. I wanted to hear you anyway. I
Oh,
love
thank
when
you.
talk.
That's so sweet of you to say, Nick. 2 Up that I love. Love Chance Warmack, guard out of Alabama. I've been on the show repeatedly saying this. Yeah, that's
how much
my
he loves
dude.
him.
I think this is a guy who's a big-time bruiser that you can stick in the middle of the line. And what's the best way to rebuild the team is you build it from the inside out. You've seen them do it the last 2 years on the defensive end of the ball, going with Quentin Coples, Muhammad Wilkerson. They should do the same here. We just left. Whoops. We just lost Matt Slauson. Brandon Moore's got those old golden retriever hips. You're not going to see him really be at the same effectiveness that he was last year or the year before that. So I think that you're starting to see him go downhill. You have Willie Colon, and who else do you have at guard? Vlad Ducasse. All the more reason why at number 9 you should take Chance Warmack. And the other guy I like on the defensive end, I'm sorry, Ricky Sapp, I love you. I love Family Guy. Going with Deion Jordan. You put Deion Jordan behind those guys that I just mentioned on the defensive end of the ball, Muhammad Wilkerson and Quentin Coples. That guy is going to be scary good. I know he's got size, he's got speed, he can do a little bit of coverage, but you put him behind there, that's a good rusher that can get you 10 sacks, no questions asked.
Nice. Let's try
He
this
can
call.
play next to Sapp. I mean, we need.
Yeah, you can
We
put
do
Sapp
need
there.
2 outside
Yeah,
linebackers.
absolutely.
We don't just need one.
Well, they did sign Antoine Barnes too as well, so he'll be that
Definitely.
DPR.
I mean, it's a rotation.
unless he
Rex
starts.
rotates guys in all the
And
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, the 2 guys I don't like, Geno Smith, your guy, I'm very sorry.
Really?
Not a quarterback guy this draft. And Cordero Patterson or Tavon Austin, these are not my guys going into I don't think we need another receiver. I think the Jets that's one of their more filled out positions on this team.
Yeah, and you would think otherwise because the Jet fans always make excuses for Sanchez saying he has no weapons. But anyway, let's try this call before we get to John
Nice.
Presser's.
Nice shot.
Yeah, so I could shut you up too so you couldn't rebuttal. But you're on Flight 5. Let's see if your phone is a little bit better now. What's going on?
Yo, what's up? I love the show.
Thank
do I have to be 21 and older to get draft tickets?
Yes, unfortunately.
Is that true?
Yeah, because
Don't worry, I'll sneak you in. Just throw me a 50.
Stay tuned to the page though, because we will talk with the guys at Stout where it's going to be, which is only $2.
What if I'm a body?
If you're a body, you can come and eat as much as you
yeah,
want.
then that's fine. You can hang outside and we'll bring steaks out the back door.
Definitely.
We'll
There
do
should
that.
be no reason why people under 21 shouldn't be allowed. They should have stamps to say that.
Yeah,
whether
I'm
they're
gonna
drinking or
talk to
they're
them
not,
about
you
that.
can drink diet soda all night, and then I can give you a little bit of rum to kind of spike up the night. How's
Yeah,
that
Grandpa
sound?
West in his sweater vest. He'll take care of you. But
I got mad girls, but they 15.
yeah, no, Mark Sanchez won't be.
Wes will love you
Mark
forever.
Sanchez won't be there anyway, but we
That
appreciate the
passed my
call.
lips.
keep to the U Stadium page. We'll let you know
All right.
otherwise. All right,
All
man?
right, man. Thanks for calling.
All right.
All right, John, you're on the spot here. 2 up, 2 down. Who is
Phenomenal segue.
Yeah.
But for my 2 up, 2 down, I wanted to look at guys who are going to be good pros. You know, there's a couple guys who were great in college, but I'm not convinced they're going to be, great pros. The guy that I have first up is Deion Jordan. I think he's the best pass rusher in the draft. I think he's a guy who's so versatile. Rex Ryan gets his hands on him. You don't know where Deion Jordan's going to be. He could be at linebacker, defensive end. He could play a little slot corner. He's a gifted athlete, and I really think he's going to be the best pass rusher in this draft. I don't know if he'll be there at 9, but if he is, I'll be doing jumping jacks. A guy I dislike, though, is Jarvis Jones, who I think – compared to Jordan, I think Jarvis Jones is already maxed out. I think he's already peaked as a football player.
Ooh.
I'm not discounting that he can be a good pro, but I don't think he's going to be a groundbreaking pro like I think Jordan will be. There's also that stenosis thing. We don't know how many years Jarvis Jones is going to play. I'm not convinced he can add weight and still be effective. I think Deion Jordan can add weight, lose weight, fly around, whatever he needs to do. And another guy I have up is Ziggy Ansah, who you, Frank, did not like, but I think he's another guy who's going to be a better pro than he was in college. The numbers aren't there, but this is a guy who I think is going to really learn better technique and his physical gifts. Maybe not the arm fighting, maybe the hand fighting and the arm size, but I think he's a guy who can play inside, outside on the defensive line, maybe even stand up in a 2-point stance. And the one guy I have down, and this is perhaps a little controversial, is Warmack. Chance Warmack. I have him as a guy who, you know, I think he's a very good guard prospect. I don't know if I would take him number 10 in the top 10. The Jets are picking 9th, but you know, this is a guy who I admit that I've been flip-flopping on. I would, you know, a week ago had him penciled in. That would be a great pick. Now I'm not so sure because there are a lot of guards in this draft that might be the number 1 guard in the class in any other class. Guys like Cooper and guys like Warford, and I'm not convinced.
Even Kyle Long said he'll play.
And even
guard.
Vlad Ducasse is on the roster.
Right.
Too, so
hashtag Summer of Vlad, of course.
Absolutely.
But I'm not convinced that Warmack is going to be the best pro guard in this class. And I guess we'll find out.
Ooh, those are
People
tough.
are saying that he's the most pure prospect to come out of the draft as far as interior lineman since I think it was Steve Hutchinson in 2001, equating him to being one of the best guards ever.
Mm-hmm.
He struggles. He struggles in his drills.
Hey
though.
Wes, I completely.
He's a real body.
John Hanna by the Patriots in 1973.
We have the two Skypers on. We are running out of time because we got to get to the Twitter segment. What you want to do? I'll stay short. We're picking 9th. I'm not taking these 2 down linebackers or DNs that you want to call them. The guy I dislike is Barkevious Mingo. I hate Matt Barkley. I'll just come out straight and say if he's the option at 9, I'm done. I'm just gonna walk away. I'll probably leave the draft party crying too. My guys, I love Tavon Austin because I think he is by far the best receiver prospect in this draft. And from day one, the Jets need a home run. You plug in Tavon Austin, he is making plays for you wherever you put him. And another guy,
trust these small, skinny, fast
and another
guys.
reason why Wes hit on the fact that we have good receivers, and I agree. But I don't think Santonio Holmes is here for the long term. I would get a guy like Tavon Austin. Hopefully, you can develop Stephen Hill, and you still have Jeremy Curley. You move from there. I love Deion Jordan and Mingo and Barkley are the 2 guys I can't stand. So, but quickly, we do have Mr. Hans. It's Oasis.
No way.
Hans, we were talking about a Flight 5 listener football team, and we had Warmack coming in as the best guard prospect that I've seen in a long time, and I said you would be my number 1 9 overall pick to plug in at guard and start day 1. What do you think of that?
Yep.
I would definitely go for that because.
What's up, Hans? I missed you, man. How are you?
Same shit, different day. I just kind of railed on you earlier because I think that this Sanchez situation is very much similar to what happened to Alex Smith in San Francisco. You had Harbaugh come in after he stunk up the place, and then that's...
You're holding on to last hope here?
Am I sure that it's going to translate if he starts in Kansas City? I don't know. But that's how I feel about that situation.
Yeah.
You got to pick one guy at 9, Hans. One guy. Who you got?
Give me Ziggy Ansah.
Wow.
There you go.
The dude is a beast. He's athletic. It'll translate. Give me one guy who I don't want for one reason only. Cornell Patterson, because Tannenbaum tied into the Jets. I don't want it.
I love it. Hans gets all
that. That is the Tannenbaum pick the Jets to get.
I completely agree. The only thing I disagree with the Ansah and the Mingos and the Jones, I don't want a project. We're picking 9th. We can't have a project. That guy's got to come in and he's got to start and he's got to play every down. That's why Ansah, I'm not ready to develop.
You know what Ansah reminds me of a lot? Copels. A lot of Copels comparisons.
Ceiling is much higher than Ansah.
Maybe, but I see a lot of comparisons between the two. I really do. I think Ansah plays very similar to Copels, and it might take him a couple years to get there.
Yeah, and nobody is going to get the most out of a defensive linebacker prospect than Rex Ryan and Carl Dunbar. So if we can get a guy like that, I'd love it.
Hans, we appreciate the Skype. Brenda, we had you on waiting. I don't know if you want to give us a shout now or next week, but we do want to go into the we'll kick it to the tweeter segment.
All right, every week we're going to start doing this more often, hopefully.
Get your Twitters in check.
Yeah, step your
absolutely. Yeah, we're going to go through the different tweets that we picked out for the week, and tweet numero uno.
Let's get it.
That's Mr. Joe Caparosa from Turn on the Jets, and Frank didn't like this one, I know. He says, never a big fan of Flynn and never thought the Jets should pursue him. He is probably a downgrade from Carson Palmer.
Quickly, what do you think I like Matt Flynn, but I'm not that against it. I think Matt Flynn is a pretty good player, but you
How about
know,
you, Wes?
I don't think it's that big of a downgrade.
Hey, listen, I think I see what Caparoso's trying to say here is that you don't know anything about Flynn. All we've seen is a 3-game sample size. We know Carson Palmer has done it at the college level. He's shown flashes of brilliance. He's put together good seasons on the NFL level too. So from that, he is probably a downgrade.
I don't see him as a downgrade.
Yeah.
I think Palmer's shot, and I'd rather take a chance on Flynn. I haven't seen what they gave up, but I don't think you can downgrade from Carson Palmer unless you're Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, I agree. Let's try and get Brenda on because she was Skyping. Brent, can you hear us or see us?
Hey guys.
How are you? We're running out of time, unfortunately, Brenda. You Skyped in late today.
We got to get you in quick, Brenda.
How are you?
I'm good. I wanted to go back to the draft kind of briefly. I'm not sure I would actually take anyone that early in the draft, and I'll tell you why. We have so many needs, and if we're rebuilding, we truly need more players than just picking one.
Right.
Or maybe two. I feel like if we can actually trade away some of our picks, like especially in the first round, it would give us a better opportunity to kind of fill our needs.
You want to move back in the draft and get more picks?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of us want, and we're going to have to let you go, Brenda, because we are running out of time, unfortunately. Call earlier next week. We always love talking to Miss Brenda, always.
Absolutely. She's right, though. I mean,
I would love that. Yeah,
9 is like a weird spot this year. I mean, you have like your top 5 guys. I mean, you know who's going to go, but the 9 is a little bit like...
The guys who the Jets are currently slated to be looking after can be got in the mid to later first round.
I think everybody would trade back. That's
and then the problem is, if every team wants to trade back, then no one's going to want to trade up.
That's true.
That makes it a move.
Let's go to tweet number 2. We got TJ Velarde here. He says, Slauson is a bad loss for the Jets. We must be thinking O-line as well for the upcoming draft. I think we touched on that. There's Warmack, obviously. There's a lot of good offensive guards in this draft, and we can get them later, but I think so too. But let's go to number 3. Who do we got here? Who's that? Lauren? Is Lauren next? Ant? We got
No. We got which one did we have up there that we threw in? The Carson Palmer.
Oh yeah,
one?
Carson Palmer. Right. Jets will pursue Carson Palmer if he's released, which they're saying he will be after the trade for Matt Flynn. If you click on that link there, it's great. It tells you a lot of informative information on that site. They say Jets will pursue Carson Palmer with no source. So
hey, Carson Palmer is a better option than Sanchez and David Garrard.
Yeah,
no, he's not.
What about the money?
Just bring Matt Garrard and John David Booty
sure.
in.
More at USC quarterbacks. Let's
Carson Palmer's not that bad.
Let's go to the next one.
Yes,
we
would love Carson Palmer if he was here.
Nope.
Vincent Hall says Vince Young to the New York Jets.
Ooh.
I don't know. Do we have an image for that? I don't know.
Nick likes Vince Young.
I do. All he does is win video. All he does is probably at this point is win video games, but he also loves to pop a Molly and start sweating in the club too. So
the Jets already signed David Garrard, who hasn't played in 2 years. Now they're interested in Vince Young, who hasn't played in a year. Yeah, I mean, what's
Mark Sanchez really hasn't played in 2 years either. So.
Yeah, right. What's Testaverde doing? Brett Favre, you want to give him a call
I'll bring back Vinny and Brett Favre. Don't get into that's for another day. But all right, last but not least, because we are out of time here, this one I want to put on blast because it looks like he's a Giant fan from his icon up there. It's never too soon for Rex Ryan to hit rock bottom. One of the things I can't wait for in 2013, he deserves everything that is coming to him because he's such a bad person, He deserves all bad stuff to happen because he's killed people and stole from people and all that. He just deserves such bad things because he's out of the norm of a regular coach because he talks and he believes in his players and he's outspoken. He's such a bad person. I just can't wait. I'm rooting for him to fail and hit rock bottom because he's so awful.
Why do Giant fans hate Rex Ryan?
Why do Giant fans care?
Why are you mad?
Every 4 years and come to Cleveland Browns.
Who hurt you?
Picking on the little guy.
Ian should read that Mel Kiper report. Mel Kiper wrote a little insider report, and yes, it is on ESPN Insider, but some really smart Jet fan posted it on Gangrene Nation, I think, or one of the forums.
Gangrene.com.
Gangrene.com, there we go. So, yeah, it was interesting to note. But, yeah, Mel Kiper hit it on the head, man.
Yeah,
Rex Ryan will make anyone, any players into a top 10 product.
I'm not worried about that.
I know I wouldn't want him coaching against us.
Yeah,
bottom
I want him
line.
going to the Patriots.
Not with Mark Sanchez, we wouldn't.
Anyway, guys, we are out of time. Shout out to Eric Crocker, Ricky Sapp, Jake for helping us out with Ricky, John for making the trip in, Anthony for letting us stay an extra 2 minutes. We know we're a pain in the ass, but all the listeners, callers, Brenda, Hans, everybody, we'll be back same time, same place next week. We'll get the draft.
Sign him off, Presser.
We'll be out. Later.
What? He stalled. He's like Sanchez under pressure. Oh.